So I'm going to read a poem that I wrote. I can't remember how long ago. It was like probably a year to 2 years ago. It's called Faceless Crowd. And I wrote a story based off of this poem. I'm going to read it to you. I'm walking through a well-known place, black and white, at a comfortable pace. Nothing impulsive, nothing new. Then a spontaneous flower grew. A vibrant colored flower was infectious to the touch. It brought color to my eyes to see what wasn't much. What I saw was a faceless crowd, a crowd unseeing, a little too proud, the faceless crowd in one direction, heading to their doom without inspection. I can stop, turn around. I'm pushed, then fall to the ground. Trampled I am, I can't stay. I must turn to look for another day. Alright. Now is my story based off that poem. This world was a comfortable gray. Every day the same, a symphony of black and white. Every moment certain, simply just to march forward with this crowd. Told to march, so I marched. Told to draw nearer to the voice, so I approached. I marched with certainty because those around me marched doubtlessly forward, and because the unseen voice instructed. I liked it that way, predictable. This way of life was sure and safe. In this crowd I felt taken care of, with a path already paved. Then bursting through the stone-cold asphalt was a riot of color erupting in front of my feet. A defiant flower. This flower bloomed in impossible hues of red and yellows. Without hesitation, I picked this blossom. It felt soft and velvety, a texture as alien as the vibrant colors themselves. The sweet scent filled my senses, a sharp contrast to the bland air. Suddenly, the people around me seemed wrong. The crowd marching in a singular direction seemed directionless. Faceless automations rushing headfirst toward a massive, crumbling cliff that stretched like the ocean meeting its horizon's line. A shove sent me sprawling as I protected my flower, holding it close to my chest as I landed on my back, sparking something new. The impact igniting pain, a new feeling that made me feel invigorated, excited, and also frightened. I scrambled to my feet, but the press of bodies was relentless. I could make out the ominous edge, an edge that the crowd was headed for, and they were taking me with them. The crowd didn't know their fate. All they had was ears. All they could do was listen. They had no eyes to see the end, and no mouth to ask the question. My push against the crowd was fruitless. It only caused me to fall. So the crowd's current carried me towards doom, but just in reach, as we neared the edge, was a streetlight. I reached out and caught the pole and forced myself up from the tide of people. Now high up and out of reach of the crowd, I could see it clearly. The ground beneath them seemed to shimmer and distort, a hungry maw, waiting to consume them all. Beyond the cliff, a sight even more bizarre filled me with dread. A floating throne, made of what looked like polished bone, hovered impossibly in the air. Perched upon this throne, barking its commands, was a grotesque pig. Its skin was sickly, pale, muddled pink, like a sunburned leather. Two tiny eyes, bloodshot and runny, gleamed with malice. its voice raspy and rough, like it had been gargling gravel for years, echoed through the monochrome world. Jump, jump for the glorious chromo below. It wheezed, the words raspy and coughing their way out. Now that you've given your faces, eternal color awaits. The pig's promise booming through the ears of those who gave their mouths away. I knew that I wouldn't stay. I knew that I couldn't stay, but a sliver of hope remained. Maybe somewhere there was another flower, another burst of color in this colorless world, a proof that color could be found without the fall. But this defiant bloom, this beacon of beauty, wasn't enough. The crowd's choice to give their faces had been made. They were doomed to blind silence. I had to find a way to pass through the faceless crowd, to find those who still had a voice, not sold. I needed to show them an alternative way, a path to find their own color, where a pig's voice can be denounced and ignored. I needed to show them before they blindly listened to the pig's raspy commands and sold their faces. The flower, a symbol of rebellion, whispered a promise. A promise of a different kind of color, a world not dictated by a tyrant with a smoker's cough. With a newfound purpose, I jumped into the faceless crowd below, embracing the pain as I pushed through the already doomed tide of bodies. As I continued to push through, I continued to fall. I continued to get trampled, but my determination kept me getting back up and pushing through. The thought of colors of a free world fueled my strength.